Jett Luchanko. Now, maybe they can't, scratch him again because all the centers are hurt tonight.
Yeah,
Poehling came back.
Poehling takes a big block, which was honestly, for lack of a better term, and I swear this isn't Blue Chew, where it was a ballsy block. That was a heavy shot he got in front of. He's crawling off the ice, and then because I guess he's a hockey player, he comes back.
Came back
skating and looked pretty much no worse for the wear.
No.
I'm sure it's going to be a hell of a bruise, but it seems like he's okay.
He another one after that too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I was thinking. You wonder why Tortorella loves this guy.
Yeah.
He skates fast and he blocks those shots. Of course, he loves Ryan Poehling.
And looked like Frost got a little banged up at one point too.
He did. Yeah.
But Jett Luchanko is here. He's played 4 games?
4 games
out of the possible 9.
Well, he's played 4 out of 7 so far.
Of the 9 before it would need to make a decision about burning a year of his ELC or sending him back.
Yes.
Where do you think they're leaning right now? I mean, sending him in back-to-backs, it kind of feels like, I think the prevailing idea coming out of our pregame conversation was they're struggling right now, and after the 9 games or whatever it is, this is going to be the team. They're the ones that have to figure it out. So, injecting him into the lineup doesn't really do us any good. That tells me it's whenever they send him back, they are sending him back at some point. That kind of seems to be maybe what's happening, but I don't know. It's weird that he didn't play in either game.
What I can tell you, everything I've heard, and this is pretty much dating back to camp, is that John Tortorella really, really likes Jett Luchanko and wants to keep him. And the rest of the brain trust is more skeptical of keeping him. Now, obviously, the decision was ultimately made at the end of camp that we're going to keep him, but we're going to make the decision later as to, whether he's going to stick around. It seemed like when the decision was made that it came with the caveats of Torts of, all right, you'll get him for a little bit, but we're probably sending him back. Then during that road trip, Tortorella spent the entire trip pumping Jett Luchanko's tires as much as I've ever seen a coach pump an individual's tires. It was wild. You would bring up any player and he'd find a way to spin it into a positive thing to say about Jett Luchanko. And coming out of that road trip, I really thought that Torts is going to win this argument, that Torts is going to basically be I can't coach this team without this kid. Then there's the home opener. He plays the home opener. He didn't look spectacular in that home opener. I don't know if maybe that game changed Torts's, not his opinion, because I'm sure he still loves the kid, but maybe the performance of Luchanko in that home opener made him think to himself, do I really want to die on this hill? Is he really as ready as I thought he was? Because suddenly he doesn't play in either game of the back-to-back. Yeah. And that strikes me as weird. Because if Tortorella is this high on him coming after a loss like last night's game, you would think he would have been I need this guy in my lineup. He pulled out, Tyson Forrester a game ago, Bobby Brink tonight. There were guys he could have taken out to get Luchanko in that aren't playing that well, and instead Luchanko doesn't play. It just makes me think that possibly this decision has been made. Maybe he gets in another game, but possibly the decision has been made.
I can't remember if you said it before the show or on the show that you thought maybe the fact that Washington is such a physical team might have played into it. Maybe they just don't want him to get the crap beat out of him by Tom Wilson.
I did wonder that. That was a plausible explanation to me.
Yeah.
Of, maybe there's an element of we don't want him getting the crap beaten out of by Tom Wilson, and we're not sure. But they would have had Delorier in the lineup. Isn't that his role to sort of protect the kids? I don't know. It's a line of reasoning I could see a hockey team convincing itself. I also theorize, and I did this also, off camera, but I'll tell it to the group. I did theorize that possibly there's an element of, we're not sure if Jett's going to be here all year. We just had the real tough loss. Maybe this is a case of I want the guys, and this is from Tort's perspective, I want the guys who are going to be here to figure this out. This is on them. This isn't on Jett. This is on the vets and the guys who are locks to be here through game 82. They need to figure this out. I'm not going to let you get bailed out by a rookie. I want you to figure this out. Now, obviously they lost, but they did play better, at least in the second half. I wonder if that could play into it. But Occam's razor here, which I tend to follow, is when your 18-year-old prospect doesn't dress for 2 straight games, Occam's razor is He's not in the lineup because they don't think he's going to help the team win. And if they don't think he's going to help the team win, then is he really going to be this long for the team when you can just send him back to the juniors?
Guelph in last place. They could probably use him too.
I'm sure they could definitely use him.
It was funny to think like, he doesn't really have any help there. And then you watch the last couple Flyers games and
Does
go,
he have any help here?
How much more help is there here for him?
No.
But for me at this point, I'm just more fascinated more than anything. Like I made it clear at the end of camp that I didn't think Luchanko should be on this team. He's exceeded my expectations, not to the degree where I'm banging the table that he needs to stay. But at this point, like, I'm just more fascinated as to what they're going to do.
That's the conversation is interesting. Like, he's here. You haven't played him 3 times now. Like, what exactly is the plan? And we'll probably know their thinking when a decision is or isn't made.
Yeah.
How long they want to stretch this out for. Do they want to get him all 9? Because, hell, why not? He's here. Do they want to get him back sooner? I'm not sure. It will certainly be a topic of conversation for shows to come. I am positive of that.
We all silly like the mayor.